We refer to our consultants as operators. And what that means to us is that they've worked inside of world-class organizations, whether it be Fortune 500 companies or military branches. We also look for people who have been entrepreneurs, people who have worn many hats and seen what it's like to be successful at an individual level. Finally, we look for people who are results-oriented. These are people who are focused not just on whether or not a job got done, but whether or not they actually achieved the overall results the project was supposed to get. I collected baseball cards when I was a kid. And baseball cards were like my first introduction to finance, statistics, percentages, things like that. And this guy was in every pack. I mean, literally every single pack. It was the guy that you're like, oh, he's good, but I'm not gonna really want to save him, And here's the interesting thing, is that this guy really raised my eyebrows a few weeks ago, you may have seen. He made it to the Hall of Fame. So we're talking about, think about your high school baseball team, and did you know anybody that maybe made it to the minor leagues? So this guy made it to the majors, and then he became one of only 200 people on average that make it to the Hall of Fame. And he did something else that was really interesting. In the history of the Hall of Fame, no player has ever started out with as low a percentage of getting voted into the Hall of Fame. They have ballots across like hundreds of sports reporters. No player had ever started with less smallest percentage as he did and make it to the Hall of Fame. So he went from 15% to the 85% necessary to get in. And I thought to myself, this is an interesting story. Here we have an average player that somehow meteorically rises to get into the Hall of Fame, and why that is. And the answer is he was lobbied for by a group of sports enthusiasts, let's call them. These are people that are sabermetrics disciples. Have you heard of sabermetrics? Yes. Ever seen the movie Moneyball? Ever heard of it? Brad Pitt? Sabermetrics. Okay, so what sabermetrics is what they did was they went back and looked at the same data set that has always existed, that everyone's had access to, same information, and they looked at it slightly differently. They looked at it in context of what was the real strategy of baseball. And if you remember the movie Moneyball, you remember Brad Pitt giving the speech. And Moneyball was based on a book, Moneyball, by Michael Lewis, who also wrote Liar's Poker and The Blind Side. And he likes to go around and look at these kind of topics that relate to business and kind of pull them out of non-business areas and put them into books to make them interesting. So what they said was the goal was to win, right? So to win, we need runs. In fact, this is almost verbatim from the script of the movie, if you've ever seen it. So to get runs, you need to get on base. And what it means is, why aren't you looking at what's really important? Why aren't you looking at getting on base? Why are you caring about home runs? Why are you caring about some of these other metrics that you guys think are so important that aren't? And so they said was basically what that breaks down to is we have a data-driven analysis linked to an overall strategy. Our strategy is to win. All right, we want to win. We need to get on base. So you need narrow focus to a few key metrics, and then you're future focused, right? So the idea was go out and find players that get on base a lot, and let's figure out how we attract them to the organization and we can afford them. And so let's flip that over to business for a second. You have a goal. Think of your own organizations, whatever that goal might be. You need to achieve our goal, we need to do blank, right? So to get X, we need some key metric, right? So again, we're linking data to strategy. Simple enough. We're not talking about rocket science here. But if you actually look at what you do every single day, how you actually focus your energies, your time, your valuable resource, your brain, are you putting your efforts behind the metric that's driving your overall strategy? And the answer to the question is, and this goes all the way up to the Fortune 500s that I've worked with, is typically no. Some of the people don't even know what they're doing, why they're doing it. They're putting a lot of time and energy into efforts that don't actually move their needle. And so, well, we realize that we're going slightly against the grain in the management consultant industry to say that we're industry agnostic. But what that really means to us is if you bring us a company to help support, we're going to be able to serve them effectively regardless of industry. How do we know that? Our experience. We've served every industry from toilet paper to guided missiles successfully. And we've yet to see the correlation or causation between prior industry experience and successful strategic implementation. We think the more important factors are the consultants we're bringing on site experienced operators? Are they linking strategy to data? And are they judging themselves by the results that they're achieving for the company that they're working for?